Between Worlds, Chapter 8. The Crystal Key. The crystalline object hovered in Arlen's palm, glowing with shifting spectrums of light. Its radiance painted the chamber in hues of violet, turquoise, and gold, each beam alive with a vibration that hummed in our bones. I stared at it, breath catching. That thing, it feels like already inside me somehow, like it knows me. Allison's voice was soft but steady, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe we've known it all along. Her eyes glistened as she reached for my hand. What if we're not ready? What if touching it changes everything? And there's no going back. Harmony stepped closer, her presence calm yet charged with gravity. You're right, Allison. Once awakened, you cannot return to who you were before. But you've already begun. Every step you've taken has been guiding you here. I let out a shaky laugh. I fought battles, faced monsters, gone through healing sessions that tore me apart and put me back together. But this, I shook my head, eyes fixed on the shimmering key. This feels bigger than all of that combined. Allison squeezed my hand. Then we face it together, like we always do. Arlen's gaze softened, ancient wisdom radiating through his luminous eyes. The crystal key responded not to power, but to truth. Fear and doubt may rise, but if you step forward in unity, in trust, it will open the path you are meant to walk. For a moment, silence filled the chamber, the kind of silence that doesn't empty but vibrating with possibilities. The crystal key's light pulsed brighter, as if it had heard our words and was waiting. I inhaled deeply. All right then, no more running. Let's see what this thing has to show us. We stepped forward together, hands still clasped, and Arlen's lowered his palm. The crystal key hovered between us, weightless, shimmering like a living star. Now, Arlen whispered. As we reached out, our fingertips brushed the surface of crystal. Instantly the chamber exploded in light. Colours beyond human comprehension flooded our vision. Emerald flames, rivers of sapphire, liquid threads of silver weaving through golden constellations. The walls of the temple vanished, replaced by an infinite expanse of stars. The crystal's hum rose into a chorus, resonating with our very souls. Allison cried out, not in pain but in awe. Her body vibrated with sound, every breath creating ripples of energy that echoed through the void. She saw music, beautiful notes spiraling into the patterns of healing light. I staggered, clutching my chest as crystalline streams shot from the key into my body. My veins lit up like rivers of quartz, my skin shimmering as if my DNA was rewriting itself. Portals flickered open around me, each one reflecting a different vision of myself across timelines. We were suspended between worlds, bodies glowing, spirits unbound. And then, in one unified heartbeat, we both heard it, the voice of the key, not with ears but with soul. You are the bridge. Together, you unlock what has been waiting for eons. The voice of the key still echoed in the vastness, reverberating through the every cell of our being. You are the bridge. The blinding light softened, but instead of fading, it settled into us. Our feet found the ground again. Though the temple around us was no longer as it had been, the crystal walls had become transparent, revealing galaxies spiraling in slow motion and beyond. I looked down at my hands. They glowed faintly, threads of light running through my veins like rivers of starlight. I flexed my fingers and sparks of pure geometry formed in the air, shapes that twisted and expanded, folding into entire structures before dissolving. Allison gasped, clutching her chest, her breath released as golden waves of sound shimmered outward. The notes didn't just hang in the air, they healed. The fractured crystal floor beneath her feet smoothed itself with every tone. Even I felt my body lightened when Allison's song touched me, aches dissolving like fog in the sun. Arlen stepped forward, awe in his ancient eyes. It is done. The key has awakened what lay dormant. Harmony smiled, radiant and knowing. Allison, you carry the song of renewal. Your voice can realign energies, mend what has been broken, and weave balance back into places consumed by chaos. You are the breath of harmony itself. Allison's lips parted in disbelief. So my voice, it can heal? Harmony nodded. And not just bodies, worlds, timelines, even fractured realities. When you sing, the fabric of creation listens. Allison stood frozen, tears glimmering in her eyes as she absorbed the weight of it. Then Harmony turned to me. And you, Jayson, you are a builder of bridges. The energy within you can open paths across dimensions. Portals are not just doors to you. They are instruments, threads you can align or sever. You can connect entire civilizations or protect them by closing the way. My breath caught. I raised my hand again and instinctively drew a circle in the air. At once, a swirling gateway of emerald and silver opened, revealing a distant alien landscape bathed in two suns. I flinched, pulling back, and the portal sealed itself instantly, vanishing without trace. Arlen's voice was filled with reverence. Do you understand? Together, you are not just travelers, you are guardians. The song and the bridge, the two halves of a promise made long before this life. Allison turned to Jayson, her hand trembling as it reached for his. Guardians? Of what? Harmony's gaze lifted to the stars beyond the crystal walls. Her tone was solemn now, but her eyes blazed with light. Guardians of balance. There are forces that would fracture existence itself. For dominion. You were chosen to hold the line, and now she gestured to the still glowing crystal key. The time has come to step into that destiny. The key floated higher, its light softer now, almost expectant. It hovered between us, waiting. I looked at Allison with fear, awe, and something deeper burning in our eyes. For the first time we could feel the truth of what Harmony had said. This wasn't just about our healing anymore. This was about the fate of the worlds. The crystal key pulsed one last time and then dissolved into two streams of light, one sliding into Allison's heart and the other weaving itself into my hands. Silence. Then the temple itself seemed to breathe. The air thickened with expectancy. Harmony stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Now, show the key you are worthy of what it has given you. Use your gifts together. Allison swallowed hard, her pulse racing. But how? What do we... Before she could finish, the walls of the temple trembled. A jagged crack of shadow appeared in mid-air, a tear in reality itself. It pulsed like a wound, exhaling a dark hum that chilled the soul. Alien's eyes narrowed. Not coincidence. The awakening has been felt. Something or someone has already tried to breach this place. Allison's breath caught. She felt it too. The energy from the rift was twisted, dissonant, like a symphony played backwards. I stepped forward instinctively. Let me try. I raised my glowing hands, focusing, and the geometric portal of radiant emerald unfolded. A perfect living pattern designed to overlay the shadow rift. But the crack fought back, resisting, sending shivers of dark energy through my body. "Jayson," Allison cried, rushing forward. Without thinking, she opened her mouth and released a single note. It was planned. It wasn't even conscious, but it was pure. A golden chord burst from her, rolling over the shadow like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. The rift shuddered, locking tighter with every vibration of Allison's song. Together, their powers fused. Bridge and harmony, form and resonance. The rift screamed as if alive, then snapped closed. With a burst of light, silence fell again, broken only by their ragged breathing. Allison pressed her hands to her lips, stunned. Did we just... I stared at my hands, still sparkling faintly. We did it. Arlen's voice broke the silence, heavy with awe. You have just sealed your first breach. Something entire orders of guardians have failed to do alone. Together, you are unstoppable. Harmony's smile was radiant, though her eyes betrayed gravity. Remember this moment, both of you, because what you just faced was only a shadow of what waits beyond. But now you know your gifts are real, and together they can turn the tide. Allison turned to me, her green eyes blazing with both fear and exhilaration. We're not just alone for the ride anymore, are we? I reached for Allison's hand, our fingers intertwining. No, this is the ride. And somewhere beyond the veil of forces that had felt their awakening stirred restlessly, the song and the bridge had been found. The chamber was still humming with the aftershocks of crystal key activations. Allison and I stood frozen, the glow from glyphs still pulsing faintly beneath our fingertips like a living heartbeat. For a moment, neither of us moved, too stunned to even breathe. I finally exhaled and whispered, Did that really just happen? Allison turned to me, her green eyes now shimmering with a depth I had never seen before, like galaxies had opened between them. It did, she said softly. Jayson, I can see things, not just around us, but through us. Through you, your light field is wide open. Her voice was filled with awe, but also with tremor of disbelief. She lifted her hand slowly, and as she focused, threads of iridescent light began weaving between the fingers like strands of liquid starlight. They danced in the air, forming patterns, then dissolving into the motes of energy that shimmered out of existence. I stared, speechless. Allison, you're bending the light itself. She let out a laugh, nervous and exhilarated at the same time. I guess this is one way to replace a flashlight. The humour grounded us both, but then something happened to me. My chest tightened, a deep warmth radiating outward, and I felt something stir, like a pulse of energy wanting to break free. I raised my hands almost instinctively, and golden arcs of resonance replied outward, creating a low vibration in the air. The sound wasn't just audible, it could be felt. The walls themselves seemed to be hum in response. Harmony stepped closer, her eyes alight with recognition. Do you feel that, Jayson? That is your gift, the resonance. You can align frequencies, stabilize fields, heal fractures in both matter and energy. Her words echoed through me like a prophecy. I looked down at my trembling hands. So I'm like a tuning fork? Allison chuckled, his deep voice carrying both warmth and gravity. Not a tuning fork, Jayson. A bridge. Where others see separation, you bring coherence. You will mend what has been torn apart. Allison reached out and touched my hand, her threads of light still dancing faintly around her. And together, she asked quietly. Harmony nodded. Together, your gifts from a union that is exceedingly rare, light and resonance, visions and stabilization. You are meant to illuminate and anchor what is coming. Without both, the path would collapse under its own weight. The weight of those words sank into me. A rare union, a path that depended on us. Allison broke the tension with a smirk. So, we're basically the cosmic dream team? Even Harmony smiled at that. But her tone grew more serious as she said, it is not by accident. The crystal key did not simply unlock dormant abilities. It awakened ancient agreements, choices you both made long before this life. What you felt today was only the beginning. The air grew thicker, and for a moment, I could almost see threads of light connecting us all. Me, Allison, Harmony, Allison, even the room itself. It was as if the entire cosmos was listening in. I turned to Allison, lowering my voice. Do you want to try it? See what happens if we combine what we can do? She grinned, a spark of mischief cutting through the gravity of the moment. Always. We both raised our hands. Allison let her light thread outward, weaving glowing lines like a tapestry in the air. I steadied my breathing and let resonance flow from my core, amplifying and stabilizing the shapes she created. The vibrations hummed in time with the glowing strands, and suddenly the patterns she wove became solid. 3-dimensional, hanging in the air like crystalline sculptures of energy. It was breathtaking, a living construct of light and sound. The chamber itself seemed to respond. The crystal walls shimmered brighter, as if feeding off the harmony of our combined gifts. For a fleeting instant, I felt like we weren't just testing abilities. We were remembering something we had done countless times before, in lives long past, across worlds we had forgotten. But then, just as quickly, the vision flickered and collapsed, leaving us both gasping, drained but exhilarated. Harmony stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Enough for now. What you have touched is powerful, but it will take time to master. Power without grounding can unravel more than it creates. I wiped the sweat from my brow, still shaking with adrenaline. Allison leaned against me, her face flushed but smiling. We did it, Jayson. We actually did it. I pulled her close, my chest still humming with resonance. Yeah, and if this is just the beginning, I can't imagine what comes next. Aaron placed his hand over the crystal key, and it glowed, dimmed back into stillness. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes carried both pride and caution. What comes next will test not just your gifts, but your hearts. For the key has unlocked more than abilities. It has begun the unraveling of destiny itself. The chamber fell into silence, the last echoes of our creation still shimmering faintly in the air. And in that silence, I realized we had crossed another threshold. There was no turning back. This wasn't just discovering anymore. This was commitment. The cosmos had just called our names. To be continued.